Hey guys, this is Nick. We're back with the list of best new PC games to play in August 2020. We have some really awesome titles for this month, as few of the most anticipated games of 2020 are releasing on PC this August. Without further ado, let's check out the best PC games of August 2020. Starting off the list, Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition. Just like a dream come true for PC gamers, Sony finally announced that Horizon Zero Dawn, previously a PS4 exclusive, is finally coming to PC. This action-adventure game revolves around protagonist Aloy as she slays Dinobots in a very lovely post-apocalyptic open world. Humans have reverted to tribal societies after the robot dinosaurs went rabid. Aloy is a hunter living at the edges of society but quickly becomes the center of intra-tribal politics. Aloy climbs, jumps, and shoots a bow with the best of them. Hunting big electronics is a real highlight. Although the game's story is pretty engaging, getting into scrapes with red-eyed screaming T-Rex monsters is a treat. There's some light crafting with metal parts scraped from kills. The complete edition of Horizon Zero Dawn on PC will come with the game's big DLC expansion and a few other cosmetic bits. It's got new snowy monsters and weapons as well. Overall, this is the best game to check out this month. Next, Windbound. It is a promising survival game set on an unexplored island. As a marooned warrior Kara, your primary task is to survive, but this doesn't look like your average tree-punching sim. You'll have several islands to explore for resources, as well as a tidy sailing vessel to travel between them. The art style reminds us of Zelda Breath of the Wind. Survival seems to be the focus of the game, but you'll also be learning about the so-called Forbidden Islands, which is exciting indeed, as all forbidden things are. Each island has its own wildlife, landscapes, and challenges to face, and you'll be crafting weapons and tools to make the dangerous adventure a touch less dangerous. The game operates on a moment-to-moment level. There's light platforming, environmental puzzles, lock-on combat, and a hand glider. It's a very casual adventure but amazing experience. Next on the list, Serious Sam 4. Yes, the Sam is even more seriouser than ever, with hordes and hordes of enemies to slay. This is a prequel to the previous adventures, but with no less ridiculous explosions than before. Serious Sam 4 is really a high-powered prequel that scales up chaos to unprecedented levels. Basically, you fight your way through unbelievable numbers of Mental's minions, smashing everything through the campaign. You can play with friends in 4-player online co-op mode also. It seems to be much bigger than previous games. The developers stated that its new Legion system will enable hundreds of thousands of enemies to be rendered simultaneously, which sounds perfectly appropriate for the series. The new game will also feature new weapons and enemies, and it looks like most of the familiar enemies and firepower will be returning as well. Moving on to Fast and Furious Crossroads. Announced back at the Game Awards last year, Fast and Furious Crossroads is a team-based vehicular heist game that presumably combines driving and action in the same chaotic manner that the Fast and Furious movies have. It tells a new story in the Fast and Furious universe and features Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, Tyrese Gibson, and other characters from their respective movie roles. They're joined by some new characters which you may see in upcoming movies. There are plenty of cars, many of which are outfitted with some pretty heavy weaponry as well, and you'll be driving through some over-the-top set pieces in each area. Unfortunately, from the trailer, it looks like graphics are a bit old for 2020. There are gadgets, explosions, and lots of okay-ish voice acting. For the Fast and Furious movie fans, this can be a big title. Next, a Total War saga, Troy. This Total War title goes further in the past than it has ever gone before, back to the Bronze Age. It pits Greeks, Trojans, and their allies against each other as they fight over the indomitable city of Troy. There are gods, monsters, and powerful heroes, but it remains a game grounded in history primarily. The map is comparable to Rome 2, so it's still a big old sandbox. Instead of amassing loads of cash, you'll need to produce a variety of resources to keep your empire ticking. Wood is needed for buildings, and eventually stone, and if you start running a deficit, don't expect buildings to stay standing. Soldiers, on the other hand, need food and bronze. The rarest and most valuable resource is gold, which can be used to barter with other factions or for visiting foreign traders. Maybe not at launch, but it's planned to have mod support, which is kind of big news for modders and gamers also. Moving on to Microsoft Flight Simulator. In this game, you can fly anywhere in the world. This is a knockout blow for anyone on the fence about it so far. Literally anywhere in the world. Our whole planet is mapped and modeled, ready to be flown across from tens of thousands of airports. This being a Microsoft game, all terrain data is pulled from the tech giant search engine Bing. You can fly to every single airport in the world, too, all 37,000 of them. To pull off this feat, the studio is using a combination of Bing satellite imaging and a whole lot of manual work. On top of seeing other players in the world, Microsoft Flight Simulator will simulate real daily air traffic across the world. You can choose to filter out non-realistic pilots in multiplayer. The weather system runs deep here. Clouds cast shadows over the landscape below and over each other. The graphics and details are the highest we have ever seen across any game or platform. Next, Tell Me Why, Chapter 1. It is a narrative adventure exploration drama game which will tell the story of a pair of twins with a supernatural bond who travel to their childhood home in Alaska and must come to terms with events from their childhood, particularly for Tyler as he has transitioned to male since then. The story involves how their childhood situation influenced Tyler's development and effects on their mother. In the game, the player will revisit parts of the old home with both of the twins and experience separate visions and memories of what had transpired, with each twin having different recollections of what happened. The player will make decisions for the pair based on which version of the past events to believe, impacting the strength of the twins' relationship and events of their future. Tell Me Why's story will be told through 3 episodes, which will be released within weeks of each other. Next on the list, Project Cars 3. It's a highly rated racing simulator game aiming to strip down the walls between sim and arcade racer and hopefully entice a few new players along the way. It's an amazing sandbox and it features sets of different cars, loads of different tracks, and different weather conditions that you can combine in whatever way you see fit. The new career system supports newcomers to the franchise and also takes you through all 10 upgradable car classes and gives you achievable objectives with scaled rewards throughout. Project Cars 3 is aimed to be a curated tour of the best cars and tracks the game has to offer. The Rivals mode brings in daily, weekly, and monthly challenges, all of which you'll earn XP for and Rivals coins. Project Cars is an interesting track for a serious racing sim to take, but one that's clearly been thought through from career mode to new multiplayer. Moving on to Wasteland 3. It's an isometric squad-based RPG set in a post-apocalyptic ice world, Colorado. The game has lots of dialogue, tactical turn-based combat, and a story that sees warring factions battle for control of the region. Its story is a direct sequel to 2014's Wasteland 2. At the start of the game, the base will be empty, and you'll have to recruit new rangers from the local population. For the first time in the series, Wasteland 3 will introduce multiplayer, and you'll be able to play through the main campaign with a friend in 2-player co-op. The campaign will continue even if only one player is online, so you can drop in and out at any time you want. Wastelands 3 also introduces vehicles for the first time in the series. The turn-based combat lets you spend action points during your turn, directing your squad to take cover or attack the enemy. The big addition for Wasteland 3 is team-focused abilities, which give your rangers tactical skills that affect the whole squad or weaken all your opponents. And last but not least, Baldur's Gate 3. One of the best RPGs ever is getting a sequel. In Baldur's Gate, you'll gather your party before venturing forth, complete with modern touches like fully voice-acted characters. The city of Baldur's Gate will be featured, of course, but the whole city won't be available to the player, only relevant sections. The game follows a new story set in the current era of the Forgotten Realms. Baldur's Gate 3 will let you choose to make an entirely custom character or one of its preset casts. Fights seem a lot more interactive than other RPGs. You can take off your boot and throw it at an enemy, knock down braziers, destroy the ground so you can get underneath enemies, climb up and then break ladders so you can't be followed. There was a lot going on in the demo. Expect fights to generally be more vertical. You can send your ranger up to the rafters to get a drop on the boss, while your rogue sneaks through some crypts. It's probably one of the best RPG games of this year. And that wraps up our list for best PC games for this month. If you want to share your thoughts, write us a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to see more amazing game lists in the future. Bye-bye.